Fly with me, money talk legacy, turn a dream to a deed. Welcome to FLYE, financial minds, young hustle in their eyes. Stack it up smart, let your future rise. To fly, upwards, where the young money wise, where the young money wise.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the FLYE Podcast, where we explore financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and uncommon careers that teens may not know about. I'm your host, Reagan, and today's special episode is special because Women's History Month has started, and we're talking about something that is a huge part of the Miss America organization, Sisterhood. I'm joined today by Miss Campbell Hargett, Miss Byram's teen. Campbell and I actually met during Miss Mississippi Teen Orientation Weekend, and this will be both of our first times competing in Miss Mississippi Teen pageant. So, Campbell, welcome to the FLYE Podcast, and I'm really excited to have you here. Before we talk about pageants, is there anything you want to tell everyone, like introduce yourself so we get to know you?
Yes, and good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm Campbell Hargett. I'm a senior at Hillcrest Christian School. I'm the student body president there. I play volleyball and tennis. I also am a part of the Mu Alpha Theta organization, National Honor Society, and outside of school, I enjoy volunteering with youth and especially at my grief counseling center.
So, you just mentioned that you're the student body president, which is a very big deal. What made you want to step into that role?
I've always cared about creating a positive environment for the people around me, and I saw problems that needed to be solved, so no one else was doing it, so I decided to be the person to do it.
What's one thing other than being a student leader that has taught you about working with people?
My main takeaway from being a student leader is learning how to listen better than responding. Some people just want to be heard. They don't always want answers.
So this is our first time competing, both of our first time competing in the Miss Mississippi Teen pageant, which is really exciting. What made you want to compete in the Miss America organization?
Honestly, being able to be a part of a group of women and young girls who want to make a difference is really impactful, and I thought that was a really beautiful experience because I like making a difference, and being around like-minded people is really beneficial.
Have you ever competed in a pageant before, or is your first time competing?
This is my first ever pageant ever,
Really?
like completely.
This is probably my fourth or fifth. And it's definitely differs from system to system, but one thing I think stays the same is everyone is very committed to
Yeah.
making a change in community service, and they're very driven and goal driven. So it's very different to see it's a whole group of goal driven people, whether if you're in your community, like, and you're the only goal driven person. So it's just a group of like minded girls. When we first met at Miss Mississippi Teen Orientation, what was the moment that weekend stood out from you? Like, what moment stood out the most?
The moment that stood out the most to me, like to piggyback off what you were saying, is when Miss America was speaking and to see how dedicated she is to the cause. That showed me how much time and effort really goes into this. And that's really inspirational that people enjoy and care and have as much drive and passion for this. And it inspired me.
I love Cassie Donegan. I had no idea how she was in real life, but I do now know, like, I see, like, oh my God, she was the clear winner because she's so down to earth, so refreshing, so different, so just her. And you don't think in pageantry, if you're like looking from the outside in, that could be like, you can kind of be yourself. But hearing from her made it for me a lot more relaxing. Like, I don't have to like fake the funk in a way,
Mhm.
because I could definitely tell that she was herself. She was straight to the point and she was honest, and I really appreciated that about her, getting to hear her talk. But one thing I love about the Miss America organization are the points of the crown: success, service, scholarship, and style. but the foundation of the crown is sisterhood. What does sisterhood in pageantry mean to you?
Sisterhood and pageantry. That's a good question. Sisterhood in general means building relationships and having close relationships with other women that think like you and think different from you, but being able to all come together under one same goal. And that's really to help others. And that's a really big thing in pageantry.
Did anything happen that made you really feel that sisterhood during orientation weekend?
Yes, honestly, that was when I met you, and I kind of relaxed. I felt that you were the first genuine person that I could actually have the connection with because I'm kind of scared of reaching out to new people, and meeting you made me feel refreshed. And I felt that we were already met each other since we played volleyball together.
Yeah.
I mean, competing against each other, but we still had previously met, and that was really cool. So that what made me really feel sisterhood.
No, that's definitely for me. It's very hard, especially competing with a group of girls that you don't know. But I loved getting to know you and then like seeing all of our mutual like interests, friends, and it was kind of like crazy. I was like, wow, I feel like I already know her. Like I don't feel like like I had just met you. I kind of felt like I already knew you. And to piggyback off of what you were saying, it is hard to find friends. It really is. And I'm talking about genuine friends, not I admire her or, I like her. I'm talking about genuine, true friendship. And that's hard in any instance. And then you're competing against these group of girls. So sometimes you can get in your head. But when you find somebody where you don't feel like you have to be in your head and you could just be yourself without having to worry so much, that's what sisterhood is to me, a true friendship, but you just happen to be competing against each other. And that's what it means to me. And I'm glad that we both had a positive experience with each other. So, what part of pageant week are you secretly most excited for? The stage, meeting everyone, or the whole experience?
I would say the whole experience, but knowing me, I'm really excited to see how I do with the dances. I'm not a dancer, so I'm gonna really see how much effort and work I put into this when I get on the stage to do the dances.
Me too. I don't think they've sent out our orientation dance yet, but learning it was really fun. That
Yeah.
was interesting. I'm a dancer and I was a little lost. But we're going to switch gears into community service. And one thing that makes the Miss America organization so unique is that every contestant has to have a community service initiative, which stands for a CSI. Could you explain to us a little bit about your CSI?
Sure. My CSI is about bringing awareness to mental health in youth and underprivileged youth specifically. And that really stands out to me because living in Jackson, most people can't really afford to get mental health care. And in the same mindset with that, some people just don't want to since they know they can't afford it. They don't really want to. They don't see the need for it. But if I could, in doing this pageant and just bringing more awareness to the necessity of it, just like how people go to a regular primary care doctor, I believe that mental health should be right up there with that same thing, especially with the youth, with all the things that we've got to go through now, social media, the whole types of different pressures around us. We really need more mental health awareness.
Right. And you've also volunteered as a grief counselor for children, which is very meaningful work. What has that experience taught you about helping others?
Like I said earlier with leading, helping others in this place is a really different type of experience because I'm not really a leader. I'm just there for them. I'm just someone that they can listen to, someone they can talk to, be regular with, just talk and express themselves and not have to expect it to have a good answer back. Just being them, someone there to be a receiver of what they've got to say.
And that's very important too, because I think a lot of people, they don't want people to solve their problems. They just want somebody to listen and understand where they're coming from. And I'm so glad you have that skill. That makes a good skill as a friend, as anyone. especially a therapist. So, you also created a mentorship program connecting older and younger students at your school. What inspired you to do that?
I always, I mean, okay, so what really inspired me to do that is I'm an only child, so I never really had like a sisterhood in my family type of thing. So I always thought it would be cool to have that. I saw other girls around them have older girls teach them things that no one else would. Their mom wouldn't teach them, or their friends they didn't already know. But being able to have that implemented at a school setting is a home away from home type of feeling. And I believe that's really important for girls who may also be only children like me, or maybe, just different things. But that sisterhood at school really makes them feel more comfortable.
No, I'm an only girl in a family full of boys. So it's very like you don't really have anyone to go to about that big sister advice. So you want to like have a big sister, but I mean, your friends are just figuring stuff out like you are. And having somebody that's already experienced that you can go to and have full, honest, blown out conversations with is actually so good. It would make a lot of this woman stuff a lot less confusing because being a woman is a lot more complicated than anyone tells you it is going to be. So having someone that you can have an honest conversation with is actually amazing. And I wish that that was everywhere. But we're going to be looking ahead for the competition. As a first time contestant, what are some goals that you have set for yourself going into the Miss Mississippi Teen Pageant?
My biggest goal is to get out of my comfort zone, and honestly, the whole thing is getting out of my comfort zone, but especially being able to talk on stage and do my talent, just making sure I feel comfortable with myself, making myself a better person overall. That's my biggest goal.
And if a younger girl was watching this and thinking about competing one day, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to do it because this really pushes you to become a different version of yourself, a better, more curated, better off, and multifaceted ways. Is really, really beneficial for younger people to do things like this.
Yeah, I would definitely tell them that. I mean, beyond just the crown, it's about the experience. It's about what you gain and you learn because it is definitely a learning curve from like the real world. And that just be yourself while you're competing. I think that's the biggest thing. I hate when people try to tell you you have to act a certain way, you have to do this, you have to do that. If you're competing for yourself and to benefit yourself, you should be able to compete how you are, what you like, and be comfortable enough to show that on stage. That to me shows confidence. And we're gonna skip to the finance. My CSI is stands for FLYE, which is financial literacy and youth entrepreneurship. And I'm going to ask you a few financial questions before we wrap up because it's never too early to learn about money. If someone gave you $1,000 today, what would you do with it? Would you spend it, save it, or invest it?
I would do all three because that's usually what I do with any money that I get. I spend some of it. I would put the other half that I don't spend into my savings, and then the other half into stocks, which is what I already do now.
That's me. I probably have to invest my money more, but I definitely do try to save it when I can. I'm just a very expensive person. I don't know. What's one thing you think teens should learn about money before graduating high school?
Just to save any amount of money that you get. If you get $10, put five into savings. If you get one, put 50 cents into savings. If you get 20, 10, and just any amount that you can, make sure that it stacks up over time. And then when you look at your savings again, you'll be at an amount you never expected, and that's really rewarding.
If you could start your own business or one nonprofit one day, what would it be about?
My actual life goal is to start a nonprofit in an underprivileged area for mental health services so everyone can get that provision that they need in that area.
Hmm. That's really good. And I think we both work. How did you feel about when you first started your job? Like how did it feel? What was the curve going from not having a job to having a job, and how did you feel about getting your first paycheck? Like how did it make you feel?
Honestly, my mindset about money changed completely when it started becoming my own money. And I really hate spending my own money a lot now. So the things that I used to like before, like I'm a really expensive person, but when it's coming out of my own pocket, I find a way to save money now. But that
Mm.
first check was really good. Well, I'm a server, so I get money every day. So when I came home that first day from work and I had my own money in my pocket, I felt really nice, but having to spend it was not the best.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the 3 week curve when you first get hired. Because I don't make tips. It's just purely like not salary, but it's purely like hours that I work. And I didn't know that you didn't get your money till like 3 weeks after you started. And I had booked my hair appointment. I thought I was gonna be out here looking very put together, but then I did not see my check come through. I asked my manager, I said, when am I gonna get paid? He's like, the next week. Oh. Because I've always been very self independent with my money, but I didn't know anything about that. And then seeing like how much they take out for taxes. Well, I kinda already knew that. Like I wasn't too like expecting like a substantial amount of money, but they half my check because I just started. So then they gave me the next. It was just a whole bunch of stuff, and then working. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to close this out because that was the end of our questions. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited that we got to experience Miss Mississippi Teens orientation, and I can't wait to experience this journey with you. And I love that we're starting it by investing in sisterhood. And if there's anything else you want to tell the podcast before we close.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun, and I'm excited to go through the Miss Mississippi process with Mississippi teen process with you as well.
Okay. I'm so excited to share this experience with you as well. And we're about to end the podcast. So I'm going to see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.